HVAC 360, episode number 29, EmpoweringPumps.com with Charli Matthews. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of HVAC 360. I'm your host, Matt Nelson. This week we're talking with the founder and creator of EmpoweringPumps.com. It's a website that brings the pump community together and really has some great articles, has some great learning. It really, it's more than HVAC, but I really love the concept that Charlie's trying to get to in developing a cohesive center for people to learn about pumps, discover about pumps, and really try to get questions answered, get information out there, bring the industry together. So that's kind of why I wanted to interview Charlie, and it was a great interview, and I appreciate it. And I think that I'm not going to prep it a little bit more. We'll just cut right to the tape. So here we go. All right, today we're talking with Charli Matthews. She is the founder of EmpoweringPumps.com. How are you doing this morning, Charli?
I'm doing great, thanks, Matt.
Hey, now, what is your background?
Well, I worked as an account executive for Pumps and Systems for the last 8 years, where I sold print and digital advertising.
Now, how did you get involved in pumps? Was it just a job in particular? Did you find it interesting, or is it like a happy accident where you got involved with it and you're like, well, you know what, this is a really broad topic?
Well, it is an interesting story. I actually worked as the administrative assistant for Pumps and Systems first while I was in college, and when I graduated, I was looking for a job in business finance. And I just said, well, you know what? This sales thing looks really exciting. And I basically asked for a job opportunity to be a full-time account executive there.
So when we talk about the magazine interest, what are some of the, in general, what are some of the big pump publications?
Well, Pumps and Systems Magazine and World Pumps are probably the two leading publications in the industry. There are several other more of a horizontal magazines that you can pick. But as far as pumps go, those are it.
Now, I guess some of the target markets. I mean, most of what I deal with is in the HVAC industry. But really, I mean, when you talk about pumps, that's kind of a narrow slice of what you're looking at. What's the market range for pumps in general?
Well, for Pumps and Systems market, and that's really what I can talk about, we focused on water and wastewater and oil and gas industries, and that is because there's a lot of fluids being moved around in those industries. But as far as the HVAC market, that is a growth opportunity that I see, especially with the regulations that are going on with motor-driven systems. It is going to be a focus in the coming years. Another market that I see as a growth market is the mining industry. And if you think about it, there's water and wastewater in both of those industries as well that we have to move around and take care of. So if you think about that, you think about the things that people use on a regular basis, food, pharmaceuticals, those are the things that we need to make sure that we take care of. So the pump industry is vital to life, which is something you find out kind of by mistake when you get in this industry. They're everywhere. So pick a couple markets and think about what we use on a regular basis, and that's your growth opportunity.
Yeah, it kind of amazes me a little bit. When I think about pumps, I'm like, what, how specialized can you get in a particular product? You think of say knitting or whatever. the knitting needles. It just gets really fine tuned. But I guess there is when you talk about pumps, it is such a vital component to any type of system. You think about pumps and fans, the thing that cause the cycles, the cycles of and the movement of all the fluids that are in a system. It really is, quite detailed. You could dive pretty deep in those topics.
Well, I think it's also interesting that a thing that I found out is that most of the time you need a pump to actually run a pump or a system. So it's just a continual system through many of the industries that you have to have a pump.
So what did you find most interesting when you worked in these magazines? I guess.
Well, the most interesting is the people that you get to work with. I mean, the engineering marketplace is just phenomenal. Just from, you go to a show and you talk to a product manager, application engineer, and I find it so fascinating how they are passionate about their products. Something that, in the everyday world, you don't really think about a pump or a valve and how that could be exciting. But when you do think about how people, they work every day to make this product better, and that's something that, I really did find interesting to see how the people in the industry care about making better pumps.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when you talk to other people, what do you think, other people's opinions are about, trade publications like these?
Well, I think that, people use trade publications to be a source of information for a particular, market. So some people have their favorite magazine in the water industry, for instance, and then Pumps and Systems was a great opportunity for me to, have a niche magazine in a market, and they use that for their news. They used it for really the information about products, technical information that they need to keep up to date on, and so it was a great opportunity to see that.
Now, I guess what do you think makes a successful magazine? What are some of the things that people like about it?
Well, you have to have a good team for sure, and you have to be personable to make the magazine not just something where you go and read, because you, like you said, you can go to Google and read any kind of information. But for the trade publications, you have to be real and have a personal feel to the publication that reaches the audience.
Mm-hmm. So, any misconceptions that people have about magazines at all? Kind of an odd
I think
question,
that they say that they're going away. I think that maybe not in my lifetime. I don't think I'll see that, but there's this perception that trade publications, people just kind of flip through them and throw them away. And I think that once you find something that you like to read, you'll keep getting it.
So, so you think that the trade or you feel that the trade magazines, are there to stay? They're sticking around. I mean, any sort of feeling about, are they consolidation? Is there been talk about that, or
I think you have to focus on a niche. The trade publications that will make it will have a niche publication, either focused on an industry or a particular product or piece of equipment, but something that they can become a specialist in. That was a big part of the success where I worked, was that we could focus on being the best in pumps.
So now you now obviously are the founder of the Empowering Pumps website. Yeah. So what was the impetus behind starting a website like this? I mean, what made you think of it?
Well, for the last 2 years, I really watched the pump industry, invest in online media, and you would see, people looking for a way to use what they've created, their videos, their webinars, to reach a broader audience faster, and with this creation of the smartphone, it just made it very easy to get information quickly in a digital format and to, people all around the world. So when I think about that, I really made an effort to learn the social media network and how that is used. And I just saw this gaping hole of, what we're missing for the pump industry is online media. And so I said, well, let's see if we can put something together that will help the industry.
So obviously, I mean, you're not working at the magazine anymore. You're doing
Right.
this all on your own. I mean, what's the business model for you to have the site?
Well, I guess as a life with being an account exec, the site is designed to be supported through advertising, but it's more of a sponsorship program where the people that are willing to support this vision of connecting the pump industry, we've designed several packages that will allow them to be in every aspect of the site just by being a sponsor. There are banner advertisings that you can buy, but my overall business model is to take one sponsor and build their brand and educate the reader at the same time. So, hopefully that'll continue to grow, and we'll be able to use not only the sponsors' information, but things like our industry pros to help the industry.
So I guess if I'm a manufacturer, what is the what is the driving factor between going online versus in print? I mean, obviously print's been around for a long time. It's something that they're familiar with. Are they actually getting an ROI on the online version, or is it mostly just a kind of supporting and being thought of as kind of visionary or a thought leader in the industry?
Well, there are many tools now that will allow you to capture things like leads for an advertiser. Right now, online media, I would say, would be a lower cost per thousand as far as advertising goes, and compared with print advertising, regular trade publication type of advertising. But I think you do need to have a plan that involves both. The online version, I think you just have to be one of the leaders that has an online presence as an OEM, and as any type of media organization, of course, needs to have as many ways of contacting the reader as possible. And we do that on the behalf of the OEM and suppliers, and we'll get to this in a minute, but there's many other ways that we can help the end user as well.
Mm-hmm. So now, I guess one of the things when I see your website, I'm like, I know that the specific magazines, the trade magazines, have their own online website. Yeah, how does yours compare to what they're trying to do? I mean, what technical advantage are you trying to work?
I think my biggest advantage is that I don't have to wait for the current issue to go out. It's constant information. News can be immediate. Editorial could run in several different places. It doesn't really matter that it's a original piece. It matters more that it's an informational piece. And the purpose behind the website is just to gather all that information in one place for someone who's interested in the pump industry.
Mm-hmm. So now, do you see more people, coming to your site, learning about the news and editorial content, or are they trying to learn basics about pumps? Or I guess how do people use your site most?
Well, there's a wide range of people from basics to advanced, but one of the things that I've learned through Google Analytics is that they are going to the news section. They're going to the product section. They're going to the company profile section. And then there is a high concentration on maintenance and reliability. And that's one of our industry and topics.
Okay. So I guess what are some of the goals that you see for your site?
Well, as far as a goal, we would like to become one spot for the pump industry where they can get all information on new products, news, technical features. If they have a problem with the pump, they can look it up, search the directory. And if they just wanted to keep up on trends in the market, they would come here. And, I do have a lot of goals as far as who I would like to see, become a sponsor as well. But it's behind the scenes. It's just making sure I have the relevant information that would help someone who has a problem with their pump.
Mm-hmm. Now you have a bunch of contributors that you work with on your site. I guess who are they? And
right.
How did you come upon finding them, recruiting them?
Well, since I have been in the industry for 8 years, I've met a lot of these people along the way. Ross McKay is one of my throwbacks from many years ago when I first started over at Pumps and Systems. He was a contributing editor there, and you think about when you're starting a company, who do you want to work with? And he was one of the best pump trainers that I knew, and had a great personality as well when I would meet him at a show. So, he would be my first person that I called to work with. Also have Terry Harris, who is an expert in reliability, which I think is very necessary to making the pump industry aware of what they should and should not be doing. And then Howard Penrose is the motor doctor. And, if you have a pump, you're going to see a motor very close. And with all the energy concerns, I thought for sure we needed to have him on board. So we tried to cover every aspect of the pump industry with our industry pros.
So I guess, you have obviously integrated, if anybody's been to the site, you obviously integrated social media in there. And what do you see as the some of the better ways that you find that you're integrating and taking advantage of social media?
Well, social media is my passion, and where I kind of got involved with the online network as well. So I put it on every aspect of the site. Every page has its own LinkedIn group listing and Twitter feed. LinkedIn is one of the best social media avenues for professionals, especially in our industry. And we created a group on LinkedIn where we share information as far as technical questions in the industry. I need help with this product, or where can I find this product? And we've included that right there on the homepage. So if someone doesn't have a LinkedIn profile and they see a question, they'll know, okay, I do need to set that up. And really just encourage people to use social media. LinkedIn, has been such a benefit to me, and I can see how it grows my network every day. More sign-ups come to Empowering Pumps through LinkedIn than any other source. So it is very valuable. And I just wanted to help the industry use social media, so I included it there on Empowering Pumps. Another advantage of social media is that you can talk to anybody at any time, anywhere around the world, and you can learn so much about their product and who they are, really, in 5 minutes on the web.
Mm-hmm. So now, do you find your audience being more global or local, or how is the split?
Well, it is more local, U.S. based, just because that's where we are. I do have a wide range of countries that come to the website. I would say that Canada, India, and the European markets are more focused on Empowering Pumps right now. But I think that's just the stage of growth.
So now, I think in general, being an engineer myself, the adoption of using websites, I think, has increased, over the years. From what's the internet to okay, I don't need a hard copy of a catalog anymore. I can just go online and find the relevant information just as quicker, and I don't have to store all the catalog information. How do you see the growth of the industry going? I mean, do you feel it's slow, adopting newer technology or using online tools slowly? Or
Well, I think it's funny. We were talking with someone last week that said, what will they do if they have a problem with this? Will they go to the technical manual? I said, no. They'll go to Google first and type in their question and see what comes up, because it's the easiest thing. They'll probably have their smartphone right there or a computer nearby before going through a manual, because it will come up faster, and there's so many different people who have an opinion about it that could help. So I think that in itself changes the industry, how people look for their information, and they want it right now. They don't want to wait 3 days for you to respond to them. They want immediate gratification, Mm-hmm. They want to know the answer to their question immediately. So that's one of the things that I think with social media you can address that, and with the smartphone it has made a huge difference.
Now, do you see? I guess my biggest bone of contention. I'll throw out my opinion first, but manufacturers, at least there's some that are really good and there's some that are really bad. As with anything, but I think traditionally, even the good ones, to find information about a product, it becomes really difficult. I mean, do you see? I mean, is that an area where you can help? Well, absolutely. The manufacturer website is very detailed, and then sometimes, say, a product manager doesn't have any control over that website, and say they have a new product and they're waiting, for the approval from the web designer to get it up there. So they can send that information to me, and I can have it up the same day. They can send news to me same day. If it's relevant and it needs to go out today, we can do that. And I think that's more of how a online media source can help a OEM is we can make changes daily. And if you're waiting around to answer a question through your company website, that might be more difficult. Okay, actually, that's a good point. Now, I guess what are some of the things that you're looking at, going forward, that some areas that you want to develop a little bit more on empowering pumps?
Well, one of the sections that will be my next focus is the Career Center. One of the things that just constant attention on social media and just in general through email is when people change jobs, people are looking to better themselves and have a better opportunity. Where do we find that in the pump industry? There are several different recruiter sites. The Pump Network is very good, but I just wonder, as an individual who's looking or wanting to post their resume, where do they go to do that? So I am looking to put that on the site in January, Career Center for the pump industry. So if you love pumps like I do, where do you go to find that job in the pump industry?
Okay, excellent. Now, I guess, are you, for empowering pumps, are you, accepting other, offers of if somebody's interested in writing something, are you open to just people submitting things, or?
Absolutely. All content is submitted from someone. I write a blog, but I'm no expert in the writing department. My experts are in the industry. Any type of papers we would love to have on the website. We are starting a searchable directory in January as well that will have white papers, case studies, and product information. Again, it's just about compiling all that information into one section. Of course, we'll have original content that will be featured on the homepage when it's more relevant to the time. For example, when we go to ASHRAE show, we definitely want a HVAC featured story on the homepage just to help with that overall feel of the website that is relevant for that time and place. So, but we love to have it. We also have a business support section on the site. So marketing, salespeople, product managers, anyone that has help for the industry, there's a place for them to write as well.
Excellent. So now, just I guess in general, when you talk about the pump industry, obviously the AHR Expo that focuses on HVAC, and there are pumps there. What sort of, if people are interested in learning more about pumps, what are some events or some places that they can go, aside from your website that you could highlight?
Well, I'll start with the AHR Expo, of course, is in January. Another really great show in our industry is WEFTEC, and that's out in September in New Orleans. It's been a staple for the water industry for many years, so I wouldn't miss that one. Just left Power Gen. It's a December show, which is really good for the power industry. Offshore Technology Conference is in May in Houston, and that's for the oil and gas industry. And the Mine Expo is this year in September as well, so we don't want to miss that if you're in the mining industry. For the pump shows, you would say Pump Symposium, which is in September as well, and then Pump Tech, and it's more of a smaller show, more regional shows, but we definitely have to look at those as beneficial because people get together and really talk about local concerns, which you'll see more of a focus on that, I think, in the coming years.
All right. Well, I appreciate all that information. What's if people want to get a hold of you, obviously they can go to your website. Is there any other ways that they can get a hold of you, or do you have a Twitter
absolutely.
handle?
Email me at charli@empoweringpumps.com. My cell phone's always on, so I'm available through Twitter. That's probably the best way to contact me directly. Go straight to the phone, right? Just like a text message at Charli K. Matthews.
All right, and I will post that on the website if anybody can't remember that.
Okay.
And I appreciate you spending some time with us and telling you a little bit about empoweringpumps.com. That's very fascinating. So.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, and we're back. Thanks again to Charli Matthews of empoweringpumps.com. Again, it's just one of these things that I know that I'm trying to do this with buildingx.co, just trying to aggregate some information out there about the industry as a central location. A lot of times people try to piece this together and it is not really cohesive. But I just want some place to learn about. Learn about the building, and when I looked at empoweringpumps.com, that's some of the things that I saw that she was trying to do is trying to aggregate the industry to get some information about pumps really all in one place, which is very which is kind of close to what I'm doing and near and dear to my heart. So I appreciate Charli and what she's doing, and I appreciate her taking the time to talk with us. It was certainly very enlightening. Some of the things that we learned about the the magazine industry and just about websites in general. So if you want to get a hold of Charli, I'm going to put that contact information on the website. So if you go to buildingx.co and look at the show notes for the episode, those links will be there. So you can click on those links and get her information. So you don't have to remember that. Just buildingx.co and go to this episode. So if you want to get a hold of me, that's easily done. You can shoot me any comments or questions if you want to see a different episode, if you like this or you didn't like this, or you want to see more of this, that, or the other thing. Let me know. Yeah, I'm always open to feedback, and I really appreciate people who do give me feedback. So if you want, just email me. There's a couple of different ways you can get a hold of me. Email me at matt@buildingx.co, or you can leave a comment at buildingx, or you can direct message me on Twitter if that is what you like to do. So that's at buildingx is my Twitter handle. And if you would just want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'd love to do that with you as well. I appreciate all you listeners, so I'd love to connect with each and every one of you. That you can do that on LinkedIn. My public profile is Matt Nelson PE, so you can do that there. Other than that, I think that's if you like this episode, please share it with somebody. If you like the different episodes, share that episode with them. We're really trying to appreciate each and every one of you listeners, and I just want to be able to grow this as much as I can, to reach as many people as I can, and help as many people as I can. So, thank you, and until next time, remember, know what you build, and share what you know.